Hello everyone, this is Devendra Chauhan from Adarsh Vidya Mandir, Shankar Vidyapeeth, Mount Abu. Today we are going to start a chapter in English for class 11th. The chapter is in the book Hornbill and the title of the chapter is The Portrait of a Lady, written by Khushwant Singh. Khushwant Singh is an Indian writer, a critic, a politician. This chapter actually it is written in first person and it's a biographical account. In this story, the writer gives a detailed account of his grandmother with whom he had a long association. As the chapter begins, in the beginning of the chapter, grandmother's physical appearance is described. So let's describe that part first. Grandmother's appearance. Now, the grandmother's was an old woman with a wrinkled face. The author had always seen her like this for the past 20 years. Now, she appeared to be so old that he could not imagine her being young and pretty. Someone who had a husband and someone whom anyone could love. His grandmother used to move around in the spotless white, the sari that she used to wear, with her on one hand resting on her waist and the other counting the beads of the rosary that she used to carry. And most of the time she used to sing in a monotonous tone. Monotonous and inaudible, which couldn't be heard, means she would only move her lips. Then the second part gives the description of the portrait of the grandfather. So grandfather's portrait is described. Grandfather's portrait. The grandfather's portrait was hung in the drawing room above a mantelpiece. In that portrait, he is seen as an old man with a long turban and a long grey beard, which was covering the best part of his chest. He was looking so old that it is impossible to believe that he could have a wife or children. One can only imagine of him having only grandchildren and lots of grandchildren. The next part of this chapter gives the detailed account of author's grandmother and his bond with the author with the passage of time. So the initial stage starts with author living in the village with his grandmother. Author's parents had left for the city to settle down there, and he used to stay with his grandmother most of the time. It was his grandmother who used to get him ready for the school. The time when she used to bathe him, she used to sing song or prayers or chant mantras in a monotonous tone so that he could learn them. But the author only loved her voice. He was not at all worried about learning those things. Now, after preparing everything for him, she used to give him breakfast. In the breakfast, he would have stale chapati, which was thick enough. She would spread butter and some sugar on it, and they would have the breakfast. After having the breakfast, she would pack everything that is required for him to go to school. She would accompany him to the school. That school was attached to a temple. Now, she would also go with him to the school. She would sit there in the temple and recite the scriptures, while the author sat in the other part in the veranda where he would sit with the other students and recite the alphabets and even the morning prayers. While returning from the school, she would throw the stale chapatis that she used to bring, and she used to throw it to the street dogs. The street dogs would follow both of them even to their house, fighting for the stale piece of chapatis. So this is the part which describes author's relationship with his grandmother while they were in the village.